Hey, Bill O'Reilly here, and this is the post-debate analysis on all our venues, television, radio, internet, commercial-free, although this program is being sponsored by my best-selling book, Killing Crazy Horse, which we hope you will consider. All right, now, as an American, I'm not speaking to you as a pundit right now. I'll get my pundit hat on in a moment. I was disappointed in that debate. I think it was a wasted opportunity. A large part of it anyway. I know what's going to happen. The Biden people are going to say Biden won. The Trump people are going to say Trump won. They're going to be snarky. They're going to be disrespectful. This is the country in which we live. But there were some important and interesting things that took place, and I will point them out. First of all, Joe Biden was cogent. He stumbled a little bit here and there. Many of the things he said were rehearsed. Donald Trump, not so much. He had a few themes he wanted to get across, but Biden had blocks of statements rehearsed. Now, Mr. Trump should have tried to throw him off his game, but again, Donald Trump is not a master guy at the back and forth. The problem was Chris Wallace, all right, and that became a problem that got worse throughout the debate. And here's what happened. Mr. Wallace is a smart man. I don't believe he favored one candidate over the other. But his questions were far too windy, too long, and he didn't have facts at his disposal. For example, to stop Joe Biden from saying, no, my son Hunter didn't do anything wrong in his Ukraine and China dealings. That's simply false. And to allow something like that to go uninterrupted is not doing anybody a service. And Chris Wallace should have had the stats there to say, wait a minute, Mr. Vice President, you want to clarify this. Because it's not about Hunter Biden, it's about Vice President Biden. That he allowed this situation in which his son enriched himself at the expense of the United States government to happen. Chris Wallace didn't want to get into that. I don't know why. He didn't cite any facts at all. I don't know why. And he kept falling back upon general questioning. Donald Trump's big mistake was debating Chris Wallace, and the president said it himself. I'm debating you. Why? Why? Now, Wallace had a hard job because he had to keep Trump from interrupting Biden. And the president did interrupt far too much. All right, he should not have done it. Now, the first 7 minutes, Donald Trump owned it. All right, he was stronger. He was calm. He presented the facts pretty well on the Amy Coney Barrett situation, which was the lead. Now, Judge Barrett disappeared real fast because Biden didn't want to talk about it. And Wallace, again, didn't press Biden, which he should have. Both candidates should have been pressed by the moderator in very precise ways, not general, you'll get 2 minutes. No. All right, and I'll give you a bunch of examples. So Biden basically stumbled out of the gate trying to make a transition from Judge Barrett will kill affordable health care into abortion, and Biden didn't want to say the word abortion, and he stumbled there. He stumbled in the transition. It is a problem for him going off script. And neither President Trump nor Chris Wallace were exact enough to get Biden out of that. All right. So he stayed on script. So then the argument with the health care was just boring. All right. Trump says Obamacare is a disaster. Biden says it's the greatest thing in the world. All right. You make your own determination. You have your own health care. Okay. That just was a colossal waste of time. And Wallace should have known that, should have heard that. Then they got into talking over each other, which was, again, annoying, but they both did it. And then they got into Trump basically saying to Biden, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. All right. And then Biden replying, well, everything you say is a lie. Now, right there, the thing fell apart. So you don't call a president of the United States a liar. That, you can say you're misleading, but Biden said, everything you say is a lie. And Trump basically insulted Biden, that kind of back and forth. So we weren't getting anything out of that. And the healthcare thing went on and on and on and on. Then the pack the court thing happened. Now, here was a key to this debate. Biden, and it looks like this is true from that debate, is not going to alienate his core supporters on the far left. So Trump, not Wallace. Wallace asked the initial question. If you're president, will you support packing the Supreme Court? All right, that means upping the judges from 9 to 15 or whatever so you can get liberals on the court. Roll that tape.
So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak. You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question because
you answer that
because
question?
the question is
Radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Right. Gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
not going to give a list.
We have ended the segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
All right, so Wallace makes a huge mistake, enormous mistake. Biden didn't answer the question. Unacceptable to me as an American. That's an easy question to answer. Are you going to support packing the court or not? Trump was right to jump in there and say, hey, what are you doing? And Wallace just let it go. We depend on journalists in this country. As an American, I was looking. But I think, to be fair, we can all assume that Joe Biden will pack the court. All right? He had his chance. He wouldn't say he would not do it. And that's pretty bad. Now, Biden did win the debate on COVID. I don't know why Donald Trump wasn't more prepared for this. So it is true that Donald Trump cut off the flights from China on January 30th. And it is true that Joe Biden called him a xenophobic and a racist for doing that. Trump brought that out. But Biden completely ignored that. You go back to it, Mr. President. You don't let him escape. All right? Biden can say, I would have done this, I would have done that, I would have done this, I would have done that, but it's all blather. What he did do was criticize Trump for stopping the flights from China. Now, Wallace was MIA again in this. All right? A good moderator says, wait a minute, Mr. Vice President, you did say that. Why did you say it? Do you regret saying it? But it got lost. And then Biden piled on all the catastrophe surrounding COVID. And there's plenty of it. If Trump loses the election, all right, if he loses, it'll be because of COVID. That there are so many people apprehensive, fearful, who've gotten hurt by the economy and all of that because of COVID. If COVID had never happened, Donald Trump would have walked into that re-election. So Biden beat him on COVID. The president didn't have a shield, and it is a complicated situation. Look at all the other countries in the world, every one of them. Not one leader could stop the COVID mess. All right, even places like South Korea and New Zealand, where they were easily isolated. South Korea because it had a pandemic before and had all the equipment ready to go, and New Zealand because it's in the middle of nowhere. It's got 4 million people. Even in those places, the thing keeps coming back. But anyway, look, I mean, that's the president's got to get a better COVID in the next 2 because that's hurting him. The second soundbite I want to play for you is about Mr. Biden and Mr. Wallace teaming up a little bit, very subtly, about the COVID menace. Go.
Excuse me, he made a statement.
So did you.
People want their schools open. They don't want to be shut down. They don't want their state shut down. They want their restaurants. I look at New York. It's so sad what's happening in New York. It's almost like a ghost town. And I'm not sure it can ever recover what they've done in New York. People want their places open.
Okay, that's the strongest part because Biden would shut the thing down. Now, again, Wallace has got to pivot then and say, Mr. Vice President, that's a pretty damning accusation that you're going to shut the country down and people are going to suffer in a variety of ways. But that doesn't happen in this debate. It never happens. Now, Wallace got in on the tax stuff. I know he would. I said it on the No Spin News in the debate preview. Trump wouldn't answer the question. And the question is, did you pay $750 in personal federal income tax? And the answer is yes. Because if Donald Trump didn't pay that amount, he would have said it. But instead of dodging it, all the president had to say, and again, why weren't you prepared for that, Mr. President, was yes, I paid $750, but I paid $18 million of corporate taxes. And my salary is tied into my corporation. My salary is tied into my corporation. I know this. So if I'm paying 18 or 20 or whatever it is, that's really my what I'm paying. Because my corporation is coming out of my pocket. That's how you do it. You just don't answer the question. And he didn't answer it. Donald Trump didn't answer it. So he loses on the tax thing. All right? Then it kind of turned around a little bit. So the economy, Trump says that his economy was the greatest ever. Biden says he and Obama did the greatest job. It's like healthcare. You know, the truth is that Trump tax cuts and the corporate tax cuts stimulated the American economy. That's true. Now, I don't expect Chris Wallace to say that. I wouldn't. If I were moderating, I wouldn't have said that. Because that's an opinion. It's not a fact. All right? It is a fact, but it's an opinion. So Biden, his fallback is, no. Obama and I handed you a great economy, and then you blew it because of COVID. That's Biden's threat. As a moderator, Chris Wallace can't call you out on an opinion, can call you out on facts. All right? So that's where this thing all went off the rails. So to me, as an American, I think Trump did an excellent job on the economy. And I don't buy the Obama-Biden handed off a tremendous economy to Donald Trump. And the reason I don't is factual. And of course, Chris Wallace should have had this, but he didn't. That median income was moribund and salary level was nothing. Salaries only went up when Donald Trump took office because of the tax cuts. But again, Wallace is not going to advocate for any position. But these are facts that he should have had. He could have gone to Biden, hey, you know, the average salary when you were in office was this, and now 3 years later it's this. How can you say that? But Wallace is not going to do that. All right? Now, Hunter Biden. I got it a little bit at the top of this. Hunter Biden is important. What's important is Joe Biden enabling his son to make all that money. And we got nothing there. We got nothing out of that. And I think it made many Americans uncomfortable. So you got to say, if you're President Trump, this is why I'm asking. I don't want to bash your family. But it's you that you, all right? You enabled this. And then all Biden says is, oh, that's not true. That's a lie. That's not true. That's a lie. That's where Wallace has to come in. Now, the debate turned. See, Biden got currency in COVID. And he's coming up. But then it turns, all right? But before it turns, we get into race. Again, Biden says that Trump called Nazis and anti-Semites and everybody good people in Charlottesville, Virginia. That's not true. I documented in my book, The United States of Trump. The president was talking about people debating the statues. Take them down or leave them up. So Joe Biden intentionally is misleading. I'm not going to call him a liar. Wallace sat there mute. Again, Wallace should know because he's in the United States of Trump. I interviewed him for the book about the debate with Megyn Kelly. Okay. So you get propaganda there. You get no clarity at all. None. Nothing. Biden misleads Americans about what Trump said. Trump comes back and segues into law and order. Here's where Trump won big. Biden would not condemn the radical left, and at one point said Antifa wasn't an organization, it's a concept. Okay? And that was not great. So there are two soundbites I want to play you in here. The first is that Donald Trump defunded sensitivity training at the federal level. All right, he cut off funds for it. Wallace seemed to be annoyed by that. Roll tape.
What is radical,
and he would know.
What is radical totally about racial sensitivity training?
If you were a certain person, you had no status in life. It was sort of a reversal. And if you look at the people, we were paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach very bad ideas and, frankly, very sick ideas. And really, they were teaching people to hate our country. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that to happen. We have to go back to the core values of this country. They were teaching people that our country is a horrible place, it's a racist place, and they were teaching people to hate our country.
Strong answer. Strong answer. That's why the president defunded the sensitivity training at the federal level. Then it segues into Biden's week on crime and violent protests. Roll the tape.
And so we have to be engaged.
That's not what they're talking about, Chris. That's not what they're talking about. He's talking about defunding the police.
That is not true.
He doesn't have any law support.
Look,
he has no law enforcement support.
That's not true.
Almost nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead.
Look,
think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
No, think
All right.
Name one law enforcement group that came out and supported you.
Gentlemen, I think I'm going to take back a moderator's role, and I want to get to another subject.
Trump wins. And Wallace cuts it off when he should not have. He should have said, that's a legitimate question, Mr. Vice President. Can you name one law enforcement group that's endorsed your candidacy? One? Can you name anybody? So I'm sitting there and I'm going, all right. So Trump wins big on the law and order deal. Then former Vice President Joe Biden makes a huge gaffe. Go.
I'll tell you what, somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not malicious. That's what his FBI director said.
Wow. Antifa is a violent group. It may be decentralized. By saying that, anybody following the violence in Seattle, in Portland, Oregon, in Wisconsin, anybody would go, whoa. You will not see or hear much of that tomorrow in the press. That was a major mistake by Joe Biden. let's see, is there anything else I want to play you here? I think that's it. Now, when you get a situation where they're both talking over each other and Wallace's questions are too long and they're not pointed, nobody really wins. So everybody can say, okay, I know I'm going to get this all night long. Who won? Who won the debate? So Joe Biden won a little bit of the debate. I'm not weaseling out here, by the way. I'm trying to be as fair and honest as I can. Because he was articulate in the sense that he didn't lose his train of thought. He memorized stuff and he was able to get it out. Stumble around, but everybody stumbles around. He was indignant. He called Trump a clown, should not have done it. A liar, should not have done it. Calling names doesn't get us anywhere. Trump didn't call him names. He didn't, Sleepy Joe, you're a loser. He didn't do that. But Trump did interrupt a little bit too much. So Biden won in the sense that he presented himself as a guy who wasn't damaged mentally. And he wasn't overly aggressive, where Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Sharper of the two, I think Trump was a little bit sharper than Biden, but it wasn't a huge gap, and that's what Trump supporters in the White House were hoping for. It was going to be a major gap. It wasn't, but again, when you push Biden, when you say, all right, name one group in law enforcement that supports you. When you do those things, you win. You win. Okay? Wallace was an impediment because he wouldn't take the thread, the important part of the debate, and then reframe the question in a very pithy way to get an answer. So, for example, and I know I'm Monday morning quarterbacking, but I've done this for 45 years, so I know what I'm doing. When Donald Trump dodges the income tax question, you very politely say, Mr. Trump, with all due respect, don't you think Americans should know how much federal income tax you paid? That's all. That's it. And then on Biden, Mr. Vice President, with all due respect, it looks like you enriched your son through the U.S. federal government. That's what it looks like. And you have the facts on hand on how much money Hunter Biden made from Ukraine and how much money he made from China. Again, it doesn't have to do with Hunter Biden. All right? It has to do with corruption. You want to use that word? I wouldn't use it to them, but as an American, I'm going, it's pretty corrupt. It's pretty corrupt. You're taking your ne'er-do-well son and you're shipping him over to Ukraine and China. He's coming back with tens of millions of dollars because you're vice president. That's pretty bad. Trump didn't seize on it and frame it that way. And Wallace wasn't going to help Trump. He didn't help Biden either. He did cut Trump off a couple of times when Biden was shaky. All right, so let's review, and I want to review my tweets here. I think that'll be instructive. I was tweeting, it's at Bill O'Reilly, by the way, live time. So Biden stumbled over the first question about Amy Coney Barrett. He could not get into abortion. He wouldn't say the word abortion. I don't believe he said it. All right. First 7 minutes, Trump won. All right. Then Trump starts to mix it up with Chris Wallace. I didn't think that did the president any good at one time, saying, look, I'm not debating him, I'm debating you. Biden calls Trump a liar. Trump let it go. I was a little surprised by that. Should he have let it go? He's the president. I think I would have said, hey, don't call me a liar. I think I would have done that. But it wasn't a big thing. The healthcare thing is just insane. I never want to hear about it again, please, because you're never going to get a definition from either guy. Both guys are going to say, hey, mine's better. No, yours is not better. All right, fine. President Trump didn't follow up on his big opening in COVID, and that's, hey, Joe, call me xenophobic and a racist when I stop China flights. That's a fact. You want to explain that, Joe? I would have gone back to that 5 times because that takes the whole COVID thing away, takes it out. Trump went back to a once. I would have done it over and over and over. All right? So Biden won on COVID. Trump said that the Democratic states are in chaos. Yes, it's true, but that's not Biden's fault because Biden isn't in office. However, one of the few times Wallace pushed Biden was when he said, did you call the mayor or governor, Mayor Portland, governor of Oregon, and say, hey, you ought to do something about this, did you? And Biden obviously did not. He didn't. He wouldn't. All right? Because Biden isn't going to go against the far left. That's what I learned. I knew it before, but now I know it for sure. All right? I didn't like when Biden called Trump a clown. I didn't think that was dignified. You'll never hear that again. I didn't like it. And the Charlottesville, Virginia thing bothers me to this day. Criminal justice, law and order, Biden got clocked on it. Community policing, Biden wants mental health people to go out on 911 calls. I mean, come on. You know, it's impossible. It's impossible. So, all in all, Biden wins a few. Trump won a few more. Tomorrow, the corrupt corporate media will crown Joe Biden a winner. That'll get out all over the place, on every venue, all over. There'll be a few. Talk radio will crown Donald Trump the winner. Fox News Prime Time will probably do that as well. I'll be on the radio with Sean Hannity tomorrow. We'll kick it around a little bit. No decisive win, and I think this is a fair statement, because above all, I want to be fair. No decisive win, but Trump wins on points. And the reason is that Joe Biden looks very, very soft on law and order. Extremely soft. He looks very shaky about enabling his son to make millions and millions of dollars. Very, very shaky. All right? Those are two big issues. Trump looks shaky on the taxes. On the Supreme Court, Trump wins. I think after Amy Coney Barrett testifies and everybody sees her on TV, it's going to be a big win for Donald Trump. Two more debates. They will not be nearly as widely watched as this. The moderators, I don't have a lot of hope, you know, because you really got to be one tough SOB to moderate these debates, and you've got to get it out. You can't be windy and on and on and on with the question. And then when something comes up that's an obvious dodge or an obvious untruth, you got to get right on it and say, that's not true. I mean, that Charlottesville, Virginia thing, that's been going around now for 4 years. And it's a lie. And if you don't believe that, I document that thing in the United States of Trump. For our affiliated stations all over the country, both radio and television, I'll be on tomorrow. We have Bernie Goldberg and Eric Bolling going to give us debate how they saw it. That's going to be good. And the rest of the week, we'll do the reporting about the dishonest analysis. So I'm going to do heavy tomorrow. You saw my analysis, and it's bill@BillO'Reilly.com, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Was I fair? If I was unfair, please tell me how and why and where. All right? Because I want to be fair. The service we provide is smart, it's honest, and it's fair. Okay? You all know I'm a traditional person. I can't stand the far left. I'm right up top about it. But I'm not going to deceive, and I'm not going to spin. So I want to hear from you on how we did. Also, I want to thank my publisher for sponsoring this half hour of Instant Analysis Live. The book is Killing Crazy Horse, The Merciless Indian Wars in America. You want to know about your country? That's the book to read. So we will see you again on all our venues tomorrow. And I really, really appreciate you watching us. And I hope you got something out of it. See you soon.